everyone, and welcome back to GRS, where today we are here for Round 4 of the F3 season. And today I'm going to be racing at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, located in Belgium. So, we've got a nice bit of dry weather here for the qualifying session, although Spa certainly is a track that isn't, I wouldn't be unexpected to see rain. Certainly been some extreme weather conditions seen at this track before. So that will be interesting to see if there's going to be any weather that could maybe change the course of the race today. Whether that be during the race or during qualifying. Anyways, first car out on track will be an AlphaTauri, which will be to a Vila. So, Spa, obviously, longest track on the calendar, meaning we have the least laps of any race on the calendar. 22 laps to be specific. And should be an interesting race. I think a very good track for overtaking, and a track that certainly can provide a lot of action here today. So let me just put this in here. Right, let me just post the link to the stream. There we go. Right, all good to go. As I see two of you in here just heading now towards Blanchimont. As let's get ready to start a lap here at Spa. So, to prepare the lap in the bus stop, you want to open up the final corner as much as possible. Leave yourself enough space to rotate the car, get on the power early, and up to the line to start the lap. So, into La Source here for turn 1. Down to second gear, runs a bit deep into the corner, but you can do that. You can rotate in, like, pin the corner, pin the exit. You want to get the car as straight as possible on the power as you head now up to Eau Rouge, and then Radion at the top here, and then barreling down the Kemmel Straight, where we'll be seeing drivers quite easily reach speeds of almost 350 kilometers an hour, as into La Source misses the apex slightly there, doesn't choose to use the curb on the second part of the chicane either, as we now head into Bruxelles, or Brussels, or however you want to pronounce it. I don't think the corner name is pronounced like the city. I think it is Bruxelles, how you pronounce the corner, but someone can correct me if I am wrong with that. And then into Puon here, missing the grandstand actually in the game, but Spa hasn't been updated for ages, so yeah, I don't know. Anyways, into what is this chicane called? Is it Lafanya? Yeah, it is Lafanya. Then through Slavolo 1 and 2, and back onto the back straight here, and through Blanchimont. What is this back straight called? I would like to know. I have no clue what the name of it is. I just know that the corner is Blanchimont. Google, no, I didn't ask. Is Spa a difficult track? Well done. Anyways, 44.2 to Avila there. First lap of the day, beaten by Daniel in the Haas, who does a 43.4, goes 8 tenths quicker, which will be followed by a Mercedes of Mitch Snape, who does a 43.8, and then Jack Kane in the Alpine, betters Mitch's time by 3/10 and just a tenth off the lead so far, with Torben slotting in also on a 43.5 and just a few thousandths behind Jack Cockane. Next to the line is Jitten in the Ferrari, and that's a 43.2, 2/10 quicker for now. And a good banker there, but will we see anyone head into the 42s on their banker lap? It's not going to be Lucas Hodes or Matteo Churek, because I think Lucas did go out on the inter tyres, yeah, and Churek was on mediums. Same, oh my god, my voice just went. Same with Torben, as we have Quiribin here in the Williams, gets all over that curb. That's going to cost him quite a lot of time, with a bit of a moment there. So, not sure how the rest of the lap's gone for the Williams driver so far. We'll find out shortly as he heads now into the bus stop. Brakes well, gets the car rotated in nicely. And good out the second part as well on the power, nice and early. Up to the line, it'll be a 46.4. I'd say he got at least half a second in one of the mistakes already. So maybe one or two more in there and could definitely get onto the pace. As here we have Lepage in the Mercedes, who's on the curb there, so Williams spinning out in front. That must have been a bit distracting. As 49 middle sector. Don't think that'll be too close to the fastest we've seen so far. As there is an Alfa Romeo cutting some grass. As now into the final chicane. Brakes a bit late and sort of drifts the entry, doesn't rotate it very well. But the exit's fine, and up to the line it'll be a 43.2. Actually a bit faster than I thought, to be fair. There's an invalidation there for a new driver today, Mohammed in the Red Bull. And then we also have Charlie Gordon here in the McLaren. It's a bit wide there through P1. Manages to carry the speed nicely throughout the corner. Now into Fangye, the Le Fangye chicane. Keeps it on track on the exit. Bit wide on the entry to Stavolo 1. Wobbles all over the place there and has almost lost the car again through Stavolo 2, but still pointing in the right direction for now. So clouds are starting to roll in here, and I was mentioning about the weather earlier, so it could certainly be a possibility that we do see some rain during the session. That's now out the final corner and up to the line for Charlie Gordon. It's going to be P7 with a 44.0 for now, as Mitch has invalidated. What we do have is John Ahern here, current championship leader in the Ferrari. Keeps it in 8th through P1. And now into Lafangya. We're looking for something better than a 49 in the middle sector. So we'll have a look to see if John has managed that. He's done a 14.7 actually, so a good lap so far from the Ferrari, and we could definitely see him jump to the top of the timing boards with this lap potentially. Manages to get it nicely into the bus stop. Bit of a wobble on exit. Well, it's all good, and we'll go P2. This very close at the top between the front three. And let's take a look at that Ferrari in the red and white. I don't know. Let me know what you think of it. I personally, in real life, it looks a lot nicer than the game. The game doesn't do it justice at all. It looks a bit bleak. would be the way of describing it in the game, but I'd say I much preferred it in real life. As here we have two Avila starting a second run now. We'll be looking to climb up from currently 10th place. I'm sure there's plenty of time in the lap. You don't tend to push fully out on your banker to try and find every bit of time out the lap. That wouldn't be too advisable, as if you do make a mistake and bin it from trying to take the perfect lines, then you don't have the whole rest of the session to just sit there and watch on from the sidelines. It's now through No Name, keeping it nice and tidy within the track limits into P1. And again, clean through there. Goes very aggressive on the inside here in Lafayette, but I think that's worked out very nicely for him actually. Bit wide through Stavolo, and it's 2/10 up, so sometime found, and definitely a bit more coming into the final chicane, I reckon. As Ferrari moves out the way nicely there. It's now into the bus stop chicane. Drops it down to second, rotated in nicely to the first apex, runs it across the second curb, short shift into third, up to the line, and it's a 3.5 tenths improvement and up to P8. So that is not bad whatsoever, as the sun's starting to come back out again, so the weather doesn't really know what it's doing out here today in Spa, but I guess we'll see as Torben's 7/10 up here in the Alfa Romeo. So this could be an absolute storming lap if you can just keep it through the final sector. As into the bus stop, short shifts to third before the second apex that time. Bit of a different strategy, and it's a 42.7 for the Alfa Romeo, big improvement. And I think he'll be very happy with that. As we do see, Querubin in the Williams here. 4/10 up in sector 1, and unlucky to invalidate there. Right on the edge of the track, and has near backed off. Leakage is just starting a lap, so we'll have a look at Lucas, who's actually going around the final corner. And Lucas Hose does go to P2 with that lap. 43.1, followed by Harvey Conway, also doing a 43.1. So the drivers seeming to improve quite a lot on their first runs. I'll be interested to see who else is going to find a lot of time out there. There certainly is a lot of time to be found for a lot of people. There's a bit of a loss of the rear there as we jumped on board with Mohammed, but it's a 14.8 in the middle sector. Just one sector left to go. Oh well, just one corner now, which is the bus stop chicane. I guess it's technically 2 corners, but you know what I mean. And 43.4 for the first lap of the day, and right in the middle of the pack there, pretty much. Well, that's not bad whatsoever. There's Lapage drifting a bit, but he's found 3/10 from drifting a bit. So I don't think he's going to argue with that too much. We know he's got a lot of time in the bus stop chicane. So he didn't get it too good on the previous lap. Has he got the car stopped this time? He has. Rotated in nicely. A bit too aggressive on the second apex. Exit is still decent though, and it is going to be enough for second place. But again, I still think a bit of time in that. It was just a bit too aggressive towards the second apex of the bus stop, but other than that, Not sure where the time will be found in the rest of the lap, as we have Mitch here in the other Mercedes. Currently sits P10. We do not have any form of delta to tell us how this lap is going. Other than the fact that he's actually going back to the pit lane, 3 minutes to go, so a late swap to try and get himself in and out. As we see, Lapage is definitely not going to be able to make it back to get out on track again. So that'll be the end of his session here, as we go on board with Lucas in the Williams, currently on his final run, gone very early. Well, that's not a bad thing, can back off and go again if needs be, which is always something good to be able to do. And it's already a 10th and a half nearly in the first sector, so that's a very good start to the lap here for Lucas in the Williams. We'll need to find about 4 attempts to challenge for pole. I'm interested to see if he's going to be able to do that. It's now into Pilon. Drops it to 7th and carries the speed through very nicely. This is looking pretty tidy. Bit off the apex there in Lafagna, and maybe a bit too much of the apex in the second part, but there's the benefit of going early. He's now got the whole of essentially the back straight here to regen that battery, although he's instead chose not to regen the battery and go again, although the fuel light's not flashing, so I'm not too sure. Anyways, we have Jit in here on the Ferrari, currently nearly 2 temps up in that first sector, drops it to 6th there, and we have a Williams moving out the way nicely, which is always good to see. Decent through Lafagna, missed the first apex, but don't think it would have costed too much, and Stavolo is very good, so that's nearly 6 temps of improvement for the Ferrari driver. And it's going to be very close with Torben, although Torben will still be going again once more, and I think could see a pretty good battle here. Can Jitten, firstly though, take that provisional pole position away from the Alfa Romeo and put the pressure on? The answer is yes, 42.5 for Jitten. And now the pressure's on for everyone else to try and find some improvements out there. Lucas Holtz has invalidated, so we'll have a look at Tua Vila in the AlphaTauri, who is 8 thousandths improving at the moment. As I will quickly re-invite Charlie Gordon, as we see in this lap in the background. If, of course, he has me added. Otherwise, I won't be able to re-invite. There we go. Through the final chicane, and now up to the line. What time is it going to be? It is not an improvement for Tua Vila, and that is going to be session over there for the AlphaTauri driver. Lucas has invalidated. So that will be John Ahern next in the Ferrari. How is John doing in comparison to his previous lap time? 3.5 temps up, so he's going to need to find a bit more time in this final sector, as Lapage there obviously couldn't get another lap in, so ended up back in the box, and he'll be starting the best of P3. That could easily be displaced by John, but a massive snap there. And I think that could potentially cost him the chance, although it's looking good up to line actually. It's a 42.7 and just put in P3 there. Daniel does not improve and is displaced there by Chirek for P7. As we now have Quirabin 2 seconds up in the Williams, a bit of a wobble on the exit there. And it's going to be a 44.5, stays at the back, but a big improvement. And is in range as Torben has taken that pole position back. I didn't even catch that. And Harvey Conway, I was trying to swap to him, couldn't do it in time, goes to P3, Mitch to the line. Don't think he improved And neither did... Actually, no, Jack did. Jack jumps up to P7. So, there we go. Torben takes pole with a 42.3 here today. 2 tenths back to Jitten in the Ferrari. And then on the second row, we'll have the other Ferrari of John O'Hearn, joined by Harvey Conway in third. Then it'll be Lepage and Lucas Hodes on the third row, Jack Cockayne and Maciej Jurek on the fourth row, with Daniel and Mohammed on the fifth row, Mitch and Jan on the sixth row, and then Charlie and Quirabin starting from the back row of the grid. There is race director. I don't think anyone needs that, but right, so interested to see what the strategy is here. Looks like a few light clouds, but mostly sunny out here today in Spa, so I wouldn't expect any rain. Should be certainly quite an interesting race. A good qualifying session, one of the longest tracks, not too big of a field spread, to be fair. So I'm sure we're going to see some good racing all up and down the field. We've had some good fights already between different drivers this season, so we'll see if that continues with our current top two in the championship starting from 4th and 5th respectively in this race. John with a current 11-point lead out in front. But can Lepage cut that one down as the lights are coming on now? As we have 5 red lights here in Spa. And it's lights out and we are away as it looks like a good start from Jitten there. He's going to get alongside on the outside of Torben. But Torben's going to be ahead through turn 1. Jitten runs a bit deep into the corner and has compromised himself a bit there and dropped down to 4th place, with Harvey and John being opportunistic. As are we going to see side by side Lucas backs out and Lepage sneaks down the inside but sort of hits Lucas off the track there. But that is not ideal for either of them, as they've now both dropped down to 8th and 10th respectively, as Lucas getting swarmed by everyone here. As on the inside there's someone, a bit of an unsettled car there, as Charlie Gordon seems to be having a few connection problems, and that's not an ideal start for Lucas. He's been dropped all the way down to 13th place here, as Harvey already putting a lot of pressure on the back of Torben here, although that's probably a track limit warning. And has more battery at the moment, but runs quite a bit deep into that corner, as Jack Cockayne also right on the back of Jitten here. And let's see what the Alpine driver can do on the back of the 2 Ferraris at the moment. As it looks like Daniel behind putting pressure on the Alpine to get a bit of a move on, and at the front Harvey Conway also looking to potentially take the lead of the race. He's going to swap it to the inside, but not really an overtaking opportunity there, as Jack has completely outbroke himself into the chicane there. And he's just going to have to rejoin on the outside there and drop down quite a few places in the process. As we see Lucas also making a move up into P11 now. And Jurek, I think Lucas was a bit of a sitting duck there. I don't think Jurek realised when he made a slight mistake that there was going to be a Williams on the apex, but luckily they both come out of it unscathed, which is good. As here comes Jitten making a move and someone's getting dropped down the other. What is going on here? That is a strange ghost car. Torben's binned it into the wall and there's a big crash at the front. And that's two of our leading drivers flying down the order. And unfortunately, from a slight mistake there from the Alfa Romeo, Harvey and Torben are going to be dropped right down towards the back. And then that now puts a Ferrari 1-2 in this race, and that's a pretty pivotal collision early on there. Two of the front runners flying down the order after an unfortunate collision Harvey couldn't avoid, and Torben just couldn't keep that car facing the right way. Just completely went on him there. Whoa! And that's damage for the Haas driver of Daniel there, as Harvey Conway's also had a bit of a spin off the restart, and on the restart Daniel trying to time it well, and had a very, carried a lot of speed, seemed to have reacted well to it. Not sure if he would have got a try through if there wasn't a car there, but unfortunately picking up damage. From a bit of a tap into the back of the Haas drivers, one of the Ferraris into the pit lane, and also with a mistake there. And Charlie Gordon, who was right near the back in qualifying, I think ranked 11th or 12th, did he start? He started 13th actually. He's up to second place on lap 3 here as Lapage all over the place there, and Lucas Hodes is already back up to P4 from 13th. So both drivers who have been in 13th, one at the start of the race and one now, are both actually about to be in podium places, which is very interesting. As we've had absolute chaos here at the start in Spa, with 5 drivers already going into the pit lane for a front wing repair. Overall, just a lot of carnage. Maybe, while Lucas may not have been too happy to initially lose those places, it could have potentially been a blessing in disguise here, as he is only 2 seconds off the lead, and actually basically back where he was, so actually he's ahead of where he was, so I can't complain at all, I don't think. Still obviously won't be happy with the lap 1 incident between himself and Lapage, which did look to be the fault of the Mercedes driver, so that will obviously probably be looked into after the race. As Lucas here close to the back of Charlie Gordon. Shitten has extended that lead to about 2 seconds, although the gap between Shitten and Lucas hasn't changed too much, as Lucas is going to go down the inside here and will have DRS for the next straight, as Charlie goes into the pit lane actually, and also hits the wall on entry, so maybe some damage there for the McLaren driver. Did seem to lose a lot of time out of nowhere in the middle sector. Just looking to see he potentially might be making some overtakes anytime soon. As we see Lapage not too far from Avila, although I don't think Interlacon is going to be close enough. He's certainly going to get near the back of the AlphaTauri. Almost been in it under braking as well. Car did not look very stable there, to be honest. As here comes John in the Ferrari, flying past Daniel for P9 here. And next up the road will be Jack in the Alpine, who is the lowest down driver not yet to go into the pit lane. So we'll have to see about how that goes, as interested to see what the strategy is going to be from the drivers at the back here. They're going to have to really get their foot down and get going here to catch back up, as Jitten again finds himself in a very good position in a race. Probably should have won last week in Singapore, in my opinion. But an unfortunate drive-through cost him the race win there. And again, just not seeming to be too comfortable on the exit of the bus stop, as that's going to bring Lucas Holt slightly closer. Although, if there's not too many of those mistakes, it's not going to be too much of a detriment for the Ferrari driver. As I think Lapage is going to get this move this time round on the AlphaTauri of Tuivasa as the clouds starting to get a bit darker here. Although I don't think that necessarily means rain, as the Williams of Quirobin goes into the pit lane and retires from the race. As, oh no, Lapage has completely overdone the corner and collected Jan. And that is 2 incidents this race already, as Charlie Gordon's binned it up Rouge and Radion. Let's go on board with Torben and get a look at that. Hey, that's not a safety car, I don't know. But yeah, that McLaren is not functioning. That is not what you want your car to look like, I'll tell you that much. Not ideal. Anyway, someone else who's had a bit of a quiet race so far, Mitch, is now up to P5. Out of all the carnage, I don't think I've said his name once, dropped to P13 off the start after qualifying what I believe was P11. And has quietly made his way up with plenty of battery here. And on the hard tyres, be on the attack against Tuivasa soon as well. So we'll keep an eye on that gap. We see Mohammed here going for a move on Jack before Blanchimont and probably trying to bridge that gap to DRS of the cars in front. It's going to be close. Mohammed actually hits the grass a bit. And Lapage is off into the pit lane to probably get a new front wing, I would guess. Just about keeping it on the track and also pointing in the right direction there as he's to continue that scrap. But Mohammed will be in front for now. As I don't think Mitch is close enough for the overtake here on Jan this time around. But something slightly reminiscent about the manoeuvre to the right there, almost faking the move, is similar to what Lapage did. Sort of driving in harmony between the two of them. That crash should have been a safety car. Yeah, I know. It really should have. As Daniel there just slips off track and picks up a 3-second time penalty for 3 warnings in this race. And Tuivasa drops behind Mitch. And yeah, back to that crash. Hey, that's not a safety car. I have no idea. Just another case of the officiating at Spa. With all the stewards around the track and also the FIA in accordance deciding, you know what, safety is not needed. And why not just let a stray McLaren at the top of Radion completely bend in a wall? Yeah, no one's getting it, that's fine. Don't need a safety car for that, but yeah, whatever. Very random, very inconsistent from the game. To be fair, some crashes like that should be safety cars, are safety cars, and then you'll have like someone tap their front wing off slightly on a wall somewhere in the most like pointless part of the track. It doesn't even, the debris goes just completely nowhere, and then it'll just bring out a full course safety car. It just makes no sense. As Tuivasa into the pit lane might have damage. Obviously lost the place to Mitch. Has gone into the pit lane alongside that. As Lapage has gone onto the soft compounder tyre. I'm not sure if that's because there's going to be any rain anytime soon, or what that's for. As that is a flying cast around the outside here. Daniel gets the position, and John sort of just already with many places to go there in that corner. That's the best way to describe that. Unfortunately, wasn't going to be able to fight that position back particularly. as Lucas has now got into the DRS of Jitten, last week's race winner, versus last week's race leader for quite a while. And this should be an interesting one. As now up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Lucas Hodes is going to have, I'd say, his first major overtaking opportunity here. Although he's not too close to the back of the Ferrari. Towards Lake Com, he's getting closer and closer, and he's going to go for the dive to the inside. Loses a car in the process, but I think he'll hold the position and just being a bit cautious there of the Williams that seemed to be out of control, but was able to regain control. As here comes John around the outside. I don't know why I've swapped to the Red Bull there. But that is John up a position, and that's also Torben with a 3-second time penalty. As Harvey also chasing after Jack here for 8th place in the race. We are on lap 8 here, so we will be coming towards the halfway mark shortly. That's another 3-second penalty for Daniel in the Haas, and will bring his total up to 6 seconds currently. Interested to see where the 5 cars who have not pitted yet will come into the pit lane. As Harvey putting pressure on the back of Jack here, one of the cars not to pit, as there goes Turek into the pit lane here on lap 8. Or on the end of lap 8, going on to lap 9, as here comes Harvey down the inside. Harvey slides, Jack nearly misses the corner, manages to keep it on the track, but has a very compromised line, and that will be Harvey free for the position. And there's a new fastest lap of the race there, 45.9 from Layfidge. And here we have the Haas of Daniel trying to fight with Mohammed here, but just doesn't have any resources left in the car, and he's on medium tyres that are raging a bit, and we've also picked up another warning there. As I think the Red Bull is going to chase after John here, trying to get in the DRS range of the Ferrari driver. Oh, that's a Haas. Okay. That's a Haas airborne. And that's not going to be... Safety cars are on. We did actually have a VSC as well. I don't know why I need to check that. But this... That's a car that's gone backwards into a wall at, I don't know how fast, has gone airborne, and they've gone, yeah, no, don't need a safety car for that. What's the point? Don't need a safety car. What? I don't understand this game. As Harvey and Jack again in the bus stop. Jack sliding off track there, and also hello Turek. Sneaking in for the move. Turek's actually on the soft tyres, interestingly enough. And a lot of drivers swapping to the softs for some reason makes me think there's going to be rain at some point in this race. As here comes Mohammed. That's going to be past Jitten, who's just come out the pit lane and will need to get those tyres up to temperature. And that will be P4 for the Red Bull. At the moment, Lucas Hogue sits with a comfortable 13.5 second lead at the moment. Jitten has gone to hards. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with the strategy in this race. Very, very unsure, to be fair. Still not particularly used to look at this Ferrari in the game, to be fair. Not sure how long it's actually going to be in there either. Some of the cars, they release special liveries for the F1 World Car, others they just stick on the car for a bit, which is a bit random, to be fair. You'd think they'd have been consistent and just put all of the special Vegas liveries on the car. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, Lucas Hogue's into the pit lane, so that means Mitch will lead the race for now. I bet he'd absolutely love a safety car being in the lead of the race. So where will Lucas come out? Here's a question. And there he is. He's going to be in front of this train, although he's going to be under severe pressure from John at the front of it. So here we go then. I think this should be quite a simple move for the Ferrari driver. And a simple move for both Ferrari drivers actually. As Jitten gains a place and can see Lucas right in his vision now. So he's going to be on the charge after the Williams driver. And currently doing very well in the race. This is what we will call the fight for the lead, as that's what it is. So Lucas Hogue's down to about 30% battery, although the pace is now going to be mostly controlled by John here. Who is doing a good job of keeping Lucas behind at the moment. As here comes Jitten with the battery on. And Lucas close to the back of the Ferrari driver. Going to just lift a bit through Longchamp. And has nowhere to go. John defends it into the bus stop. And Lucas will sit behind for now. As into turn 1. John's going to have enough of a gap to defend as Mohammed goes into the pit lane in the Red Bull for a fresh set of tyres to the end of the race. Just a bit behind here. As here comes Lucas Hogue. And that is the move for Lucas. As Jitten seems to have made a bit of a mistake there, had to shift down to 7 in Eau Rouge Radion, which isn't ideal. As Lucas will next up have to negotiate the Mercedes of Mitch, who is still yet to come into the pit lane at the moment, as the Ferraris have swapped positions, and Jitten will be hoping that Mitch will slow down the Williams driver a little bit, although I think Lucas has got a good time here to get the move done on the Mercedes. As Mitch drifting that one a bit. I think we'll see him into the pit lane soon. Use those hard tyres for quite a while, mate. And probably an easy swap to the mediums for the end of the race. Although it doesn't choose to go into the pit lane yet. So it'll be interesting to see when he does finally decide to go in. But no DRS for the Mercedes driver here, as I think Jitten's going to be wanting to get past pretty soon. And yep, deploying the battery to do so. Mitch moves out to the right, and then moves back over to defend. Back onto the racing line, but Jitten is through, and we'll go back up into second place, and has that gap at about 1.5 seconds to the lead of the race, so we'll need to up the pace a bit to try and close that gap and give himself a good shot to have a fight with Lucas if he can do so. We'll just have to see if that is what's going to end up happening here. As Jitten picks up a 3-second penalty, which is not ideal whatsoever. Unfortunately, that's going to make it so he's going to have to do a bit more work than before now. And that gap is approaching 2 seconds at the moment. So I'm also interested to see when John's going to go into the pit lane. I don't think these mediums will make it to the end, so I'll probably need to put on a pair of softs in a lap or two time. And then can go to the end, or could go in there and go for mediums. This breaks a bit late into the chicane, and they actually both go into the pit lane. Mitch, careful Mitch, almost has a bit of a collision with the wall on entry there. Torben also goes into the pit lane in the Alfa Romeo. That is going to promote a few drivers up a few places here, as Tua Vila is going to be up to 7th, and also has a chance to put pressure on John here, who's gone for the softs. Mitch on the mediums, as Mohammed picks up a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Jan. Could even get a double overtake here, potentially. Well, that's not going to be the case. Actually, John braking very late on the outside, makes a corner, and will defend 6th position on those softs for now. And it's probably going to use them pretty aggressively to try and get past Mitch. Start off here and build up a bit of a gap. That gap at the front is stabilised around 2 seconds at the moment. I was interested to see out of these two how it's going to go. There's John here, about half a second back, will probably make a move. I'd guess up over Radion. We don't really tend to want to make a move into turn 1, and she'll just get re-overtaken. So it's always good to be patient here. Use it to get close into the braking zone, and then just take your time into the corner, get a good exit, focus on the exit, keep as close as possible, and then use that DRS. And if you need any battery, you can use that as well. There's John using before Eau Rouge there to get himself closer, and now he's going to use at the top. Mitch also deploying to defend the position, and John is going to go to the inside in the Ferrari, and he will take that position away from the Mercedes driver. Mitch will now have to sit behind the Ferrari for a bit. And eventually the tyres will, the tyre situation will go back in his favour. If he can stay in DRS, that would be a very good effort from the Mercedes. but we'll just have to see. As managing to stay really close here to the back of the Ferrari, so pace is looking very strong at the moment for Mitch. As Sherrick goes into the pit lane for his last stop of the race. As Harvey Conway also moves up into P7 there on the hard compound of tyre. As Mitch just dropping on that gap a bit. And will come out. Oh, Sherrick will come out. Just ahead of Harvey, I think. Although Mitch is not going to get the RS on the cars in front there. No. And has Sherrick on fresh softs, who's going to be on the charge here towards the end of the race. There's about 6 laps to go. Once this one's over, as here goes Torben. Oh, into 10th place, the final points paying position today. Or every week, but actually, if drivers DNF, then technically, say if we have 9 drivers left before 90% race distance is completed, then the drivers won't get the points, so I guess it can change. This Jack here also getting close to the back of Jan. And can the Alpine get a move complete for 8th place? And we'll have to see shortly. I was a bit white for Stabilo 2. Leaves the gap at about half a second, so I'm thinking as long as he negotiates the heavy braking zones alright, then should be okay. As into the bus stop, and whew, I've seen him make that mistake a few times today, just going in a bit too hot into the braking zone, and puts himself with a bit more work to do, although a good exit here would help, and it is a good exit. Brings him a bit closer to the AlphaTauri. We'll have to see now, can Jack get up into 8th place here? With a bit of battery, it's going to be a formality for the Alpine. And there goes Jack now, trying to keep within penalty range of Harvey Conway, who has 6 seconds, so should be okay on that front. There's the penalties in general, with Jitten and Mohammed having 3 seconds apiece, Harvey with 6, and looks like Torben, and then Lepage with just a 3-second time penalty at the back. Position changes, Lucas Hose up 5, Mohammed up 7 and Mitch up 6, so the big gainers there. With Torben down 9, Lepage down 6, losing quite a lot of places in this race, as there's Torben sneaking down the inside of Jan there. That was an opportunistic move as Lepage ups his penalty total to 6 seconds. And is now also looking for a move on the AlphaTauri. We'll stay behind for now. And again, probably will choose to stay behind into turn 1. We may go for the move, although this is going to give Jan the DRS. As speaking of moves, there goes John Ahern. We'll watch back here, and there Jan's going to put that battery to good use. And flies back past Lepage there. for P10. Leipzig will now have to look to make a move somewhere else again, a bit later in this race. As Torben is up to 9 seconds of penalties now. As one thing really interesting is that gap at the front has actually just remained at 2 seconds for basically this entire second stint. Lucas managed to expand it a bit at the start, but yeah, Leipzig did waste quite a lot of battery. I don't think he needed to make that move in turn 1, to be honest. And he's now going to have to sit behind. And into the bus stop, doesn't go for a dive, and is pretty set on for P11 here. Jan seems pretty comfortable with the defending at the moment. As Leipzig moves a bit onto the grass there. But this time we'll have the opportunity to overtake with the DRS, as we also see another overtake up here with Mohammed getting past John for P3, and John's picked up a penalty there, and I know someone will like that, and that is Mitch. And also Turek. As there we go, Leipzig has got the move now, and well, I think he'll be settling in potentially in P10 or 11, depends on if he can gap Jan by 6 seconds, which is a lot of work, but on the fresher tyres we'll just have to see how that goes. There's Turek here, close to the back of Mitch, and will probably be looking to make a move with the DRS shortly. And 2-stop strategy from Turek, or is it a 3-stop now? I'm not even sure. I don't know if Turek was one of the drivers who pit early on, I don't think so. The 2 stops work nicely here, and could even pick him up a podium come the end of the race, with the time penalties on track in front. That's what we'll see Turek go flying past here, use a bit of the battery, and could even gain another position, maybe even both of them on track, to be honest. Looking at the pace he's driving right now, if he can get into the DRS of John and then past John on the same straight the next lap, then he could even do that to Mohammed the following lap, so good race here from Turek. There's Jack closing in on Torben. Tuavila's picked up a 3-second time penalty. He has gone to the pit lane also, and there's yellow flags. Maybe a fastest lap attempt. It has gone for mediums, but that could due to be not having a pair of fresh soft tyres. I might instead choose to push on the mediums to try and get that. As Turek's done exactly what I thought he would, and if anything has helped Mitch here, unless actually John's made a few mistakes, it seems he's lost a bit of time to Mohammed, as Mitch got to be careful with those track limits when you don't have a penalty. Mitch is in a very good place and doesn't want to blow that. As we have just 2 laps to go in a moment. Lucas Hose leading us onto lap 21 as Turek trying to find any gap. Maybe trying to force a mistake from the Ferrari. I don't think we'll see him making a move until the Camel Straight. So here we go for the penultimate time. Up Eau Rouge and Radion as that gap in front It's getting dangerously close for John not to get the position on Mohammed. Oh wait, he wouldn't have gone anywhere. I thought Mohammed has 6 seconds. That is my bad, he only has 3. As Mitch close to the back of John, but not close enough. As Chirek is on the charge to close that gap back up now. Make sure that he does get that podium. Got to keep... just not got to lose half a second in the next lap and a half, as there goes Torben past Harvey for 7th in this race. Who has the fastest lap at the moment? It is John on a 44.9. Next closest is a 45.4 from Marcy Edge. Let me get the interval back on. There we go. So there's one more lap to go after this one. And one final tour of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit is what we have, as John here dropping out of the DRS. Mitch getting a mega slipstream here. But again, just chooses to sit behind for now. Doesn't need to force any overtakes. And we'll use a bit of that battery to get closer. And I think it's going to be full deployment from them both to see who can get that position on track. As not the best exit from Mitch there. Bit too aggressive on the pillar, but has a good straight line speed in that Mercedes, and is already right on the back of John. And here we go, battery deployment. Although John's going to save tactically here, maybe going to wait until Blanchimont as Mitch is fully out. As Harvey Conway picks up another 3 seconds. And then might not mean much to the Ferrari, although dropping a bit astray here as that gap for the podium is very close. Chirek just got to keep pushing here, although the Red Bull in front has a lot of battery to play with coming down that final straight. So it's going to have to be a mega few corners for Chirek. I don't think anyone's struggling with fuel, to be fair. Something I completely forgot to check this race, but I don't think anyone was. As that gap's going to be 2.9, and here we go. Man, it's just going to deploy all the way down here now. And unless Chirek has an absolute mega bus stop chicane, I don't think he's got too much of an answer to that, as Lucas Host goes back to back here with a winning Spa. Jitten will take P2 there, and I think Mohammed will take P3. Chirek close, and not close enough there. Mitch takes P5 with John in P6, and it's going to be Harvey across the line in P7 and Torben across the line P8, but both with 9 seconds of penalties. So it's going to be Jack who will take that P7 away from both of them. And then Lapidge will cross the line for P10. And did Yang get the fastest lap? Was 2/10 off, so a good effort from the AlphaTauri. Probably with no fresh softs, having to go for the medium and try it. It does improve a little bit more even on that final lap, but not close enough, unfortunately. Missing out just by a 10th. Anyways, Games Driver of the Day goes to Mohammed on debut. An impressive drive to take a podium on debut, which is nice. And Lucas Holtz takes the top step once again, and didn't see any incidents involving him other than the one with Lapidge, which from a first glance looks like the fault of Lapidge, so should be all good. Even if he does get a 5 second for something, he will retain the lead. So are your race results. I don't need to scroll down because that's everyone who was in the race, and here is the race director in case anyone needs it for penalty removals from the stream. So thank you all for watching. If you would like to see more action from us, then you can subscribe, and in the description there's a link to join the Discord where you can sign up to race if you are interested in racing with us. We will have 2 other tiers, F2 on Sunday and an F1 on Wednesday next week, both at Spa. The next race here in F3 will be next Friday, same time, which will be in Spain. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you then.